Following the successful screening of ministerial nominees by the Senate, the Conference of President Generals of the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities is calling on President Bola Tinubu to appoint a competent person from the core oil-producing states of the region as the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs. At a news conference in Abuja, the chairman of the Ethnic Nationalities, Professor Benjamin Okaba, also urges President Tinubu to consider the large volumes of daily oil production and the devastating impact of oil exploration and exploitation peculiar to Bayelsa, Rivers, and Delta states before assigning the portfolio of the Minister of Niger Delta.
I hope that this administration will give priority attention to ensuring that the best among one of us from the most impacted communities of the Niger Delta in terms of the very peculiar maritime environment and host communities of oil and gas production. We've given the opportunity to lead the Niger Delta Ministry. The expected appointment of a minister of the Niger Delta with a good knowledge and cognate experience of the core realities of that area to oversee the Ministry of Niger Delta will serve the overall interest of the country. Any misstep, we caution in doing otherwise. That is appointing someone outside the core area or with the required knowledge of the peculiarities of the environment may be counterproductive and may not serve the overall interest of the country.
Now, for more on this development in the Senate, that's the ministerial screening, let's speak with a legal practitioner, Ahmed Abbas, who joins us live via Zoom from Lagos. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, when you look at the process of the ministerial screening, just a few of them generated some kind of controversy. The certificate, year of graduation from secondary school, then the Bosun Tijani story, but none of them were as controversial as what happened today. Did that come to you as a surprise?
Not at all.
Why is that?
I'm not. I say this with profound respect to the senior advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo. Ever since he got into politics and the corridors of power, I would say with all sense of responsibility that he has actually not carried himself with the dignity required of that particular office. He has been very confrontational. Most times, this is not the first time he has been confrontational with the National Assembly. There is an element of arrogance and rudeness. You see, there are three arms of government. You have the judiciary, you have the legislature, and you have the executive. The three arms of government requires a modicum of respect to each and every one of them when you are before them and they are carrying out their constitutional function. Will you do this? You can't do this in the law court as a senior advocate. Can he be confrontational to a judge and ask the judge that you don't have the right to ask me any question relating to the subject matter before the judge? He won't do that because he knows the consequence. So I'm not surprised. And it is very shameful and should be condemned by everybody. A National Assembly representing the entire nation should not be disrespected in the manner he has done today.
Some people have also said, look, in the way it has also conducted itself, especially the subcommittee, the committees of the National Assembly, and how they carry out their oversight functions of these MDAs, have also not been respectable, and that's a conversation around the country, and that perhaps also that power of invitation and summon has also been overused by the National Assembly, perhaps why it is no longer respected. I just also want to get your reaction to that.
You see that a man is abusing power. He has the power, but he's abusing it is a different thing entirely. If he has the power and is misusing the power, there are legitimate ways for seeking remedies. If you have to go to court as a lawyer to probably argue that they are abusing their power, get judgment that will be to the benefit of the entire society, you are deepening democracy. But being confrontational will not augur well for our democracy and our institutions. You can disagree with them in a polite manner. You can disagree with them in a respectable manner. If you observe, most times when officials of states appear before the Congress in US, you will see sometimes they ask them questions that they do not want to answer, and they will diplomatically respond by saying, I'm not in a position to answer that question now. I'm not in a position to answer that question now. I can't answer that question because I don't have the facts at my disposal. These are more polite, diplomatic way of responding to people. You don't have to be confrontational and disrespectful. That's what I'm saying, especially for his status as a senior advocate. There are lots of younger lawyers that are looking up to him as a role model. We must not act like gangsters within the corridors of power.
But he did take the high road today, Mr. Abbas. Did he not? I mean, eventually he apologized, and one would say that, look, that was taking the high road.
Can I tell you something? That's an avoidable apology that you should not, by a person of his status. You need to do your rehearsal when you are going to meet an august house of the entire nation. You are before the global community. You should bear that in mind in conducting yourself with some modicum of equanimity, so that you demonstrate responsibility, high sense of responsibility. You are going to meet a minister of the Federal Republic. Are you going to be irritated by every question? So you have a lot of people there. So it's a reflection of your state of emotional maturity in being able to answer questions. Some questions can even be asked in such an irritating manner, but you deflect it intellectually, you deflect it maturely, you deflect it emotionally, diplomatically, and tactfully. That's my position.
All right, let's go to the latest development. 45 out of the 48 nominees have been confirmed, but 3 of them haven't. A former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, has not been confirmed. Stella Okotete from Delta State, as well as Daladi from Taraba State. We understand it's because of security clearance. I don't know how much you know about that particular kind of clearance. How long is it supposed to take, and what does that mean going forward?
Well, if any ministerial nominee has some questions to answer before the DSS, it could probably there are petitions against his nomination, and he will be given the opportunity of fair hearing to clear his name. So I'm sure that within the corridors of APC, they will diplomatically sort themselves out because it belongs to the majority, the party that has the majority in the National Assembly. I do not see it as many issue. Governor El-Rufai, being the governor of Kaduna State, with all the security challenges, the killing in the southern Kaduna hemisphere, actually has raised a lot of doors. The way and manner they went, demolishing houses and all the rest of them. I think that has actually dented his credential as a nationalist, and I'm sure that a lot of people must have written petition against his nomination that he does not qualify to occupy a national office. And I'm sure they will sort themselves out because, like I said, they belong to the majority party, and they would find a way around it. I remember
the Senate president mentioned that particular petition and said it was going to be forwarded to the appropriate quarters. I'm sure probably they had forwarded that to the DSS, but we'll see how that particularly plays out. Thank you so much for talking to us, legal practitioner Ahmed Abbas.
Thank you for having me.